Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And we know there's lots of little civil wars in the Labour Party. Hardly surprising, they are a degenerate bunch of weirdos. But one of the big ones is about to hit the papers, I think. It's getting hit everywhere. And that is the big fight now that's going on between Rayner and her faction and I was going to say the faction of Rachel Reeves. She hasn't really got a faction. She's got a couple of hangers-on, a couple of arse-kissers who may be hoping that she'll bump them up. But she's got a little gang of 4 or 5 that are sort of standing around, sticking their tongues out, going, we got Rachel, but they don't really like her. But these, what should we call them, chums, friends of Rachel, makes it sound a bit like, well, never mind with that one, but friends of Rachel, they're all claiming that that Rayner, too many people with letters R in the name, aren't there? That Rayner has made an error in her sums, really, in her difficult sums, when she was calling for all these tax increases. Now, that doesn't surprise me because Rayner failed maths, failed English, failed history, failed everything. In fact, left school with no qualifications whatsoever. More babies than O-levels, you know. But this was in this memo that was leaked that she denies, Rayner denies leaking it. And so when she was asking for these tax increases, as I say, now economists who look for such things, real economists now, not Rachel Reeves, who isn't an economist, real economists, have publicly questioned, obviously, really, the Deputy Prime Minister's figures, these works of fiction, these stupidly wrong fictional works, these estimates, because they don't add up. And the Treasury's own figures also show that she would generate far, far less money, in income tax or the various taxes than she once suggested. Now, honestly, put your hand up if you think Angela Rayner is the sort of person who's going to be clever enough to work this stuff out. And I don't see any hands raised. No. She, she's had this bright idea, has Rayner. I use the word bright completely incorrectly, I suppose. She's had an idea, and she's been pushing it, and everyone's just laughed at her. And she doesn't like it that they're laughing at her, but it's hard not to because she's an idiot. But anyway, she put these out in March, and it's contradicted what the Chancellor was doing. The Chancellor was trying to say, right, well, we've got to raise taxes a little bit, but basically also cutting things like PIP and welfare and all that. And that really annoys Rayner. Rayner says, no, we've got to charge the rich more. And then watches as the rich leave the country and you get nothing. Well, that's what happens when you get morons, isn't it? But the memo, and I've got the figures here, the memo detailed 8 options, and I think they were all mad, 8 options for tax increases and estimates for the additional revenue that would come from it. And it suggested that the tax hike, on revenue, income tax, they reckon they could get another £3 to £4 billion if they put income tax up. That's not how it works. Income tax doesn't work like that. However, Treasury insiders have, like I say, looked at the figures and said that actually it would make no difference whatsoever. If you put the tax rate up now, you're over a tipping point. It would not increase tax revenue at all. And it would actually, and would have the possibility, and I would suggest probability, of actually reducing the tax take. But of course, that's what happens when you get, like I say, morons. And you've got 2 women and 2 morons, 2 dumb bins, let's be honest. You couldn't put a fag paper between them as to which is the dumbest. One just sounds dumber than the other, but, they're equally dumb, aren't they? But the Treasury aren't saying exactly what the figures are, only that, that this is the probability for it. But they don't want to, I think basically they don't want to publicly humiliate Angela Rayner. Why would they? She's doing such a great job of it herself. She wants to remove the tax-freeness of the alternative investment market, AIM, which at the moment it generates no income tax from no revenue. What's the word? Dividend tax. Blimey, no dividend tax because it's a little market where you put money into start-up companies, help them prosper and grow and so forth. And it's a way of boosting Britain. So there's no tax on that to encourage people to do it. Now she wants to tax it. Well, if you're going to get taxed on that, or you stick your money in an established company that's going to make money, well, it's obvious what's going to happen with the money. You're not going to stick it in AIM at all, are you? And therefore, all these little companies that need a bit of investment to start up ain't going to start up. Again, the genius of the woman knows no bounds. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in their heads. I suspect very little. I don't understand. Seems to be the only thing that goes wrong in Rayner's head. Past the tea, nothing. It's just an echo chamber in there. Dying, literally brain dead. But Reeves is no better. Some of the things she's done. I'm going to put VAT on schools and then watch as I lose money because it's not making me any money. It's actually costing me money. Why, that isn't right, is it? I put tax on, I should get more money. No, you dumb cow. That's not how it works either. What is wrong with these people? Anyway, there we go. An absolute bunch of idiots. Now, there's a company called Tax Policy Associates. They are experts or tax accountants and whatever, tax analysts. There's a guy there called Dan Needle. He is a tax expert there. He clarified. He said that the actual figure would likely be much lower. And he said, and we'd be looking at maybe losing 100 million rather than gaining 3 or 4 billion by the proposals of putting up the income tax. And of course, he would know, him being the expert. He's done all this. They do these things. They analyse everything down to the nth degree. Another one said this. A pensions minister actually has come out and said that this would raise far less money than expected, but it would also damage the pensions going forward because obviously the pension companies invest a lot in stock markets or in commodities or in mining, things like that. When you start taxing these and making these things more difficult, people move away from them and it costs more, and then the pensions don't grow as much as they should, and so your pensions ultimately will be lower, again pushing people into poverty, particularly in their old age when they need the money the most. But again, this is beyond the scope of these women's tiny useless brains. They can't comprehend anything that that is in any way difficult. They're just incapable, and it's sad. I mean, they really need to just stop. Just absolutely stop and listen to experts instead of pretending that they know what they're doing. Thanks a lot. Bye.